daughter of Rosalidia Ortiz y Rizarri Pellicier from Lajas, Puerto Rico. And I say that with pride. But this woman paved the way in so many ways that she recreated so many things that people even today think is unheard of. She, with only a limited English, was able to go up to someone and say, hey, will you give me private financing so I could buy a factory and make it a home for my family and my business downstairs? And so she paved the way for me to think, number one, education was so important to me. Not because she lacked anything, because she showed me so much more education than I ever found in any college. But I knew that I needed an education so that I can pave the way for my generation. I never considered myself a smart human being. So when they said I had to get a 4.0, I said, this is impossible, right? And then I remembered what my mother has done all her life. And everything that every challenge, every door that closed in front of her, everything that my father did to knock her down and how she always got back up. And I said, I can do this. Life showed me paths in other directions and showed me that I was able to help people in other ways. And thank goodness, because of being bilingual, I was able to help a lot of people with immigration. I was able to help a lot of people with bankruptcies and all these different things. But real estate all of a sudden became my calling. And it was something that I loved being able to say I could help somebody get the American dream of home ownership. And this is something that, again, my mother did without financing, creatively paved her way of buying 5 properties, never getting a traditional financing for them, just knocking on a door and saying, hey, give me an opportunity. Okay, this is how she paved the way. So I said, okay, if I can help more of our people get home ownership and decide that they too can have a place here, that to me became a goal. And so I did become a real estate agent. I had my mortgage company as well. And I just opened my brokerage. It's 7 years now. And ultimately have been able to really, just because of my last name, I didn't even start saying that I spoke Spanish, but simply because I had Rojas as my last name, so many people knocked on my door and said, hey, can you help me in Spanish? And it felt amazing that that was an opportunity that I was given to help other people become the homeowners and start investing in property and start creating that enterprise and for their family. And ultimately, that's what I wanted for my kids. Now, unfortunately, for some reason, I've noticed that this generation doesn't feel like education is as important as it was at one point in time. But I can tell you that no matter what, it's something that I hold near and dear. And it doesn't mean that you're not educated just because you don't go to college at all. But I just know that it opened up more doors for me. I mean, even when I was the first Latina in a corporate company to be a broker, I thought that was strange. I'm like, how is that possible? How is it possible that I walk into a room in today's day and age, and I was, that was what, 7-8 years ago, and I was the only Latina in the room that was a broker of a huge corporate real estate company. And then when I decided to be a coach, being a coach to me was icing on the cake because it really helped me as a business coach help others learn how to create their businesses, learn the foundations and growing from there, and teaching them that it is possible to wear different hats. It is possible to be a mom and be a sister and be a daughter and do all of these things while you own your own business and while you create that financial freedom for yourself and your family. Now, I highly believe in marriage. Unfortunately, you know, it's not something that has been successful in my family, except for my sister. But ultimately, I want to be able to let women know that they can do it on their own. The worst thing that I see a woman do is stay with the man who's beating her, stay with a man who's a drug addict, which my mother did for 24 years. Not because he helped her financially, but sometimes that's what they do because they feel like financially that's their only way. That's the only way their kids will get food on the table. That's the only way they'll be able to have that unity. And ultimately, I learned, me and my ex-husband, who we had a successful marriage for 15 years, give him some credit, but me and my ex-husband really parent together. You don't necessarily have to stick to a deadbeat marriage if it's not working. I wanted women to understand that you can be successful on your own and that partner should be an addition to your life. It shouldn't be a necessity. That's my story.